they had this book called The Divine Incantations. And they believed they were going to be aided by celestial ghost troops, which for the people that are going to uphold Taoistic teachings. Their du'at, you can call them, their evangelicals, they were supposed to convert the unenlightened. They were going to get protection, they were going to get supernatural protection for their priests and their temples. Here's the interesting point. The rejectors of Taoism, they were going to die of horrible diseases. This is one of their claims. And that Taoism was going to prevail. Taoism as a religion was going to prevail. So remember, this is the scripture from the 5th century. Now, let's look at what basically happened, right? So you had the Tang dynasty, in which the Taoist religion got state support, which you do get. You do get state supporting religions. In the Song dynasty, interesting name, you got state support. However, in the Yuan dynasty, hopefully I'm saying that right, you started to have some setbacks of Taoism. Their books were burnt and stuff. Then during the Qing dynasty, there was widespread rejection of Taoism, and there's rise of Confucianism. And later on in the early 20th century, you had the rise of Christianity in China. Christianity is going to be one of the largest populations of Christians in the world is going to be China in the next couple of decades, right? And then during, of course, the People's Republic of China, and later on the China that we have today, the official religion is what?
Secularism.
State atheism. State atheism. So Taoism clearly hasn't prevailed. Those ghost troops didn't come and strike down Mao and all the rest of the heathens and the infidels with diseases. Okay, now let's go to Vedic astrologers, Hindu astrologers. Now, sometimes, and we're here in Pakistan, whenever we think of Hindus, we think, oh, those people, they go to their astrologers. However, what's interesting about Hindu astrologers is not only Hindus who go there. Muslims also go to Hindu astrologers. Christians also go to Hindu astrologers. In fact, where I used to live in London, northwest London, Harlesden, our area was mostly an Afro-Caribbean type area. And some Portuguese, some Polish and others. In that area, of course, it's quite expensive to open up a shop. Recently, not too long ago, there was a Hindu astrologer who opened up his place, and then other people, non-Hindus, were basically going to him. So this is very, very popular stuff. Okay. Here's some interesting facts. Vedic astrology is officially recognized by the Indian government as a science, right? The University Grants Commission, I'm not sure if there's an equivalent in Pakistan, whatever name that is, they actually said this: there is an urgent need to rejuvenate the science of Vedic astrology in India, to allow this scientific knowledge to reach the society at large and provide opportunities to get this important science even exported to the world. Right? So they clearly state-sanctioned astrology. Right? And again, people's fascination, and people spend a lot of money on astrology, right? So they have this absolute fascination with them. Now, what happened was some people in India weren't happy with this. So what they did is the University Grants Commission was supporting Vedic astrology, and some people, obviously, they said this is not science. So they went to the High Court to try and block the University Grants Commission. And what they said in return is, the Mumbai High Commission said this, that basically they do not cover astrology and related sciences. Astrology is a trusted science that has been practiced for over 4,000 years. This is not a random statement. This is actually the Mumbai High Court. So there is a lot of trust in Vedic astrology till today. However, a physicist from India, Jayant Narlikar, I don't know how I'm pronouncing that, he wanted to do a scientific experiment to show that this is not science. So what he did is this is really funny actually. 200 children, 100 children who are intelligent, 100 children which were intellectually disabled, right? And he took their dates, obviously, and these Vedic astrologers, they go by dates and they come up with their stuff. He used 27 astrologers with an average of 14 years of experience. 14 years of experience amongst, each person had about average of 14 years. Now here's the thing, you had 200 children, 100 intelligent, 100 that were not intelligent, they were intellectually disabled. I don't know what that means, but that's what it says. And by pure throwing the dice, you would get a result of 50%. They could be right 50% of the time. However, the success rate was 43%. They failed by someone who would have just done pure guesswork. So this type of Vedic astrology is something which, if you try and scrutinize it, you find out that it's basically nonsense. However, I'm going to mention some things about, our belief as Muslims and jinns that come and, they can mix 100 lies with the truth and whatnot. That is important, because there is a case can be made that there is a reason why people could keep going back to astrologers from an Islamic perspective. Okay, Nostradamus. How many people heard of Nostradamus here? Okay. Nostradamus was like a factory of prophecies. He made prophecies continuously, and he made prophecies for the next 10 centuries. That's how confident he was. For the next 10 centuries. All the way to the year 3797. Quite precise, yeah? Prophecies all the way until then. What's interesting is Nostradamus was loved and was somebody that was really looked up to. So people started doing tafsir of his actual prophecies. And his prophecies were so popular that since 1775, remember he's from the 16th century, right? Since 1775, at least one book on Nostradamus has been published every 20 years, right? So somebody's come up and said, this is my understanding, my tafsir of Nostradamus, right? This is my take on what he's saying. And since 1940, it's actually been one book, 1840, it's been one book every decade. One book every decade. So he's definitely the most popular historically. People have done whole explanations on his prophecies. Okay. However, if you look at his prophecies, and as Muslims, we know we shouldn't be going to these types of people, but from a purely analytical point of view, what you find is something like this. These are two different prophecies which I put up here. To support the great troubled cape, the Reds will march in order to clarify it. A family will be almost overcome by death. The red ones will knock down the red one. Could you be more vague? I don't understand what that is saying. However, somebody with a bit of imagination can say red. Right, the Reds are going to take on the red. Who was red? Oh, the Soviet Union, they were red. Oh, Soviet Union collapsed. One of the theories why it's collapsed is internal strife, which is red against red. Oh, do you see? It's just so vague, anyone could come up with it. Look at another prophecy. The great swarm of bees will arise, such that one will not know whence they came. By night the ambush, the sentinel under the vine, city delivered by 5 babblers, not naked. Right, getting explicit there, right? I don't understand. I really don't understand what he's trying to say. However, that could mean many different things to many different people. Okay, so Nostradamus is vague, and where he's vague, you can't say he's right, you can't say he's wrong, you can't say anything because he's purely vague. However, when he is precise, he's wrong. Not every single time, because some of the years, like he's got predictions in the future, but what we can test. Here's what he says. In the year 1999, most of you I think were familiar with everybody going crazy at that time, right?